Welcome to SRG Insights, where we answer your questions about sales, sales management, and sales training. And today's question is how do I maximize my sales training budget? And that's a really interesting question. And it really is one that comes up quite often when we talk to clients. They're looking at either a new sales training initiative or they're looking at an annual budget. And when you think about training budgets, there's really a number of considerations. And the first consideration is really, what is it that I'm looking to accomplish from a business standpoint? What are people going to do differently? Is it that we're going to go out and get more new business, new accounts? Are we going to increase our win rates? Are we going to improve margins and avoid discounting? So you really have to look at what is it we're doing the training to accomplish. When we think about that, then we have to think about, well, what behaviors need to change in order to achieve these results? So is it better pre-call planning? Maybe it's better questioning and active listening skills so we have a deeper, better understanding of the customer's needs. Maybe it's having a better sales conversation that adds value by really aligning our solution with what we've discovered through our questioning and active listening skills. So ultimately, we want to think about what results we want to change and also what behaviors need to change. Another dependency that we need to think about is, when we think about what we're looking to accomplish, who are we actually looking to train? Is it the entire sales team? Is it a subset of the sales team? It could be new hires. It could be a strategic account team. It could be an inside sales team. So we really have to look at the target audience. And is this something where we're looking to really maximize our ROI? We may want to only train a subset of the audience. So think about when you look at the results that you're looking to achieve and the behavior change, who is the training audience? We also have to think about, ROI. What companies view that differently. Some companies look at training budgets as part of an annual budgeting process. They may have a preliminary budget submitted in September if they're running an annual fiscal year, maybe starting in January. And they'll just say, this is how much we have for our sales training budget. They'll turn that over maybe to a sales enablement or a sales training department and say, this is what we have to work with. Other companies look at it differently and say, well, what is it? What's the business case? In that case, you might be looking at, okay, there's an investment we're going to make here related to that investment. What kind of ROI would we expect? And in many cases, there may not be a training budget. Ironically, many of our largest training engagements have really begun with clients that don't have a budget, but they know that they're looking to do something differently or better in the way they sell, the way they engage with customers. And so they start to build a business case. And then based on that business case, they'll allocate a certain amount of money. So just to recap briefly, it could be part of an annual budgeting process, or it could be very specific to an initiative where you're building a business case. A couple of other considerations to keep in mind. Okay, so we're going to have this training budget. How is the training going to be delivered? So when you look at a great training program, you really want to focus on quality. And a quality training program will typically have the following components. It'll be a blended learning. It'll have pre-training consultation, so you really understand the client, the culture, what they're looking to accomplish. There will be customization involved so that all the examples are very relevant to that client, very relevant to their industry. People can easily think about how they're going to apply the new skills they're learning on a day-to-day basis. And then from a delivery standpoint, from the blended learning standpoint, it may start with on-site delivery. It could be a 2-day workshop. And then it could have online reinforcement and support that could take the shape of virtual instructor-led training sessions, spaced out over time with small group cohorts. It could also involve some self-paced online learning, but it's important that the learning extend from the classroom and really extend into a reinforcement program. Also, as part of that, you'll want to do some sales coaching. Sales coaching is one of the best ways to make the training stick. So when you look at that, a blended learning program that has all those components, you want to then think about, okay, is that reasonable? That type of program, is that reasonable for, again, all of the training audience or a subset of the training audience? One thing to think about is that team centralized or decentralized? If you have a highly decentralized team, that could account for as much as 50% of your budget just in travel and lodging. So although we're large advocates of on-site training, we think there's great peer-to-peer learning. There's an engagement level in terms of eye contact that you may not be able to replicate in other modes. If so much of your budget is going to be allocated to travel, you may want to consider another mode of delivery. Again, virtual classrooms have become prominent, some self-paced learning. Or you may want to just limit the number of people you're looking to train and say, what we really want at the end of the day is this highly engaging experience. So that is another dependency or consideration you'll want to think about. At the end of the day, I would always urge you to strive for quality. There's an intangible here, which is the amount of time your people are taking from their day-to-day activity, in other words, their sales activities, to be able to enter and really succeed in a sales training program. And that has a huge cost to your organization. It may not be a tangible cost in the way that travel or spending with a third-party training vendor does, but at the end of the day, that's probably the most important thing. And the way that people react to the training, if it's a high quality, well thought out experience, that's going to yield a much, much higher ROI than just trying to fit something within a budget. Another area to think about is, even though it's nice to have a third party and kind of have a turnkey solution, there may be many elements that you can do on your own. For example, you can look at your third party training provider as a content provider, as a subject matter expert, and think about how can we leverage our internal resources. So at the end of the day, training budgets are really important. It's really important to think about what you want to accomplish, what the results are, what the behavior change is, how much money can we allocate either based on a business case and expected results, or from an annual budgeting standpoint. And again, at the end of the day, make sure you're looking at the right kind of training partner and really focused on a program that's going to be viewed as high quality and achieving the goals you set out to achieve. Thank you, and a great question, and look forward to answering additional questions in future episodes. Thank you.